Section 1. Understanding the assignment. Normally, the assignment for this course, Reinforced Concrete Design, are given in the week 1 of the semester. There will be clear instructions given by the lecturer in terms of the project, in terms of the scope of the assignment, as well as in terms of the expectations by the lecturers. All these informations are typically given in the assignment handouts, which I will strongly recommend you to read through every single one of it in order to fully understand the assignment. You must not ignore any part of the handouts, as normally this kind of assignments are quite optimizedly designed, and the assignment handouts will give you a lot of essential informations which normally students are not aware of their importance. And this is one of the main reasons that students are unable to score the good marks from the assignment. Therefore, it is very important for you to understand the assignment. Read the project handouts for the details and specifications of the assignment. Know the instructions, the scopes and the details of the project, as well as to observe the details of assessment in terms of the report, presentations, submissions due date, as well as the assessment rubrics. The assessment rubrics is used for grading of the design output of the students. Normally, the lecturer will have the rubrics ready given to the students during the briefing of the assignment, so that every student know how they can score their assignments. We're going to cover every single one of it one by one, as well as with some examples. Why do you need to know the assignment? Or what is the purpose of you reading the project handouts? Reading the project handouts is important. It is for you to know the task to be carried out, to know the expectations of the lecturer, and also to know the submissions requirements or details of the assignments. Knowing the task to be carried out so that you won't miss any important tasks which will be a part of the assessment, putting yourself in the awkward situations that you don't have the relevant output for the lecturers to assess your performance. This is going to affect your assessment later. Knowing the expectations of the lecturer is also important. You need to know to which degree the quality of your output that fulfills the expectations of the lecturer, that the lecturer considers it to be good. You need to know and be able to distinguish between good quality and the poor quality. Normally, this will be clearly stated within the project handouts. Knowing the expectations of your lecturer will help you to provide the output up to the standard as required by the lecturer, and this should help you to score your assignment. Next, you need to know the submission details so that all the necessary documents are submitted on time to the lecturer for the assessment for the assignment. Now let us look at one example of a project handouts, having the typical informations as given in the slide here. The assignment is meant for the course Reinforced Concrete Design. The project title is Design of a Multi-Story Reinforced Concrete Structures, which in this case is a detached house. That means it is meant for residential purposes. And the descriptions regarding the assignment is: the assignment is designed for students to apply the engineering knowledge learned from the course Reinforced Concrete Design in analyzing and designing a multi-story reinforced concrete structures. The students are required to analyze and design the RC structures based on the architectural plan given, to produce structural plans illustrating the details of the structural elements, to produce a design report for the project, and to give presentations explaining the building design. This outlines the 4 major steps in your assignment. First, interpreting the architecture plans, where you need to analyze and design it. And then you need to produce structural plans, which are typically produced by engineers in the industry. And you need to produce a design report for the project and also give oral presentations explaining your design. In terms of the outcome, through these assignments, students should be able to demonstrate ability to comprehend the architectural plan, analyze load and design RC structures in accordance to Eurocodes 1 and 2, produce structural plan to illustrate the design of the structural element and the connections, plan and execute a project, work effectively as a team member and communicate well. If you look at the list of the outcome as acquired from the project handout here, you know that there will be assessment not only on the technical part, there will also assessment in terms of how you manage the project and how you get along with your team members. This need to be reflected somewhere in your report to provide information to your lecturer for the assessment. Now you want to know the scope of your work. You have to read every single one of it and make sure you don't miss any of those. First, produce the structural key plans for every floor, which include the foundation key plan, ground floor key plan, first floor key plan, and roof key plans. That means we are talking about a double-story detached house here, and there will be at least 4 plans here: foundations, ground floor, first floor, and the roof floor. Then you are asked to analyze, design, and produce detailing for a reasonable numbers of RC structural element as follows: the slab of the ground and first floor key plans, the beams of ground floor and the first floor key plans, the columns from the footing to the roof level, the staircase from the ground to the roof level, as well as the foundations for the columns that you have designed. And you are asked to produce the design report, which should at least cover the followings, which include the project descriptions, design considerations, design calculations, summary of design output, structural plan and detailings, project progress and contributions of group members, as well as the lesson learned. You may add more sections as necessary, but this will be the bare minimum for the assignment, as implied by the term covering at least the followings. In terms of the requirement, it is also clearly stated in the project handout here. These are the requirements for the structural plans. The plans must be self-explanatory, and the plans must be neat and in appropriate scales. The meaning of self-explanatory is the plan itself should carry all the essential informations, which by looking at the plan alone, the contractors is able to construct the building without needing to read through the design report. That is the meaning of self-explanatory. All the necessary informations are provided without ambiguities. The contractor do not need to guess or make their own decisions while constructing the building in the actual situations. Everything will need to be compliant with your plans. And another thing is, your plan need to be neat and in appropriate scales. This is to avoid any possibility of misunderstanding, as well as for the purpose of clear reference by the contractors. You know that the structural plans are actually produced as one of the most important communications medium in the industry between you and architect, between you and the contractor, between the contractor and architect, between you and the local authorities, and so on and so forth. Basically, they're going to bring around the technical plans. Everything will need to refer to the structural plans in concurrent with the architectural plans. The design report will be submitted to the local authorities as a submissions requirement and as a record to the local authorities. In the case that anything happens which there is suspicious in terms of default design, someone will need to take out the design report, review the design process, in the case that if there are any mistake made during the design process. As far as the construction is concerned, normally the contractor will not look into the design report. They will build the structures purely based on the structural plans. That's why your structural plans need to be self-explanatory. These are the requirements for the design reports. The reports must be clear, concise, and self-explanatory. The report shouldn't be lengthy. It is clearly written, and it should be able to explain itself without referring to the technical plans. That means the design report is supposed to be standalone, and the structural plan is also supposed to be standalone. Both of them should carry 100% of the informations to be given to the relevant parties in the industry. The report must summarize the design considerations as well as the design outcome. This one is for quick references in the case that anyone need to check the outcome of the design. You will need to demonstrate the calculation steps for the structural element, as you need to prove that your design process is correct, which you have to demonstrate also the specifications and the assumptions that you have made during the design process. There will be two major aspects that govern the output of your design. First, it will be the properties, specifications, as well as the assumptions made as the design considerations for the project. The second one, it will be the right calculation steps that you have gone through that use your design outcome. Both of these steps must be correct so that your outcome is correct. Next, you will need to clearly outline the contributions of each members. This is the part that you demonstrate the operations within your group as well as the teamwork within the group members. The report should be readable and free from grammatical and editorial errors. That means the report should be easy to read and there is no errors in terms of the English writings. Another part, it will be for the presentations. The requirement is each member must give presentations to describe and explain the project. It is clearly stated that everyone should participate in giving the presentations, and the focus, it will be describing and explaining the project. The presentations must be done in English, and all members with their best effort try to answer questions raised by the evaluators. Normally after the presentations, there will be Q&A sections, and the presenters will need to answer the questions raised by the evaluators. The project handouts also give you the due dates. For example, submissions of the report by week 13, second class, that means that will be the last class in the week 13, and the presentations will be done in the first class of week 14. Normally the lecturer will request so that the lecturer will have read through the reports before your presentations. This will allow the lecturer to give you better comment in terms of your design. Next, we look at the specifications of the assignment. This represents the connections of your assignments with the course, and it gives you an idea the profile of the assignment in terms of the complex problem solving as well as the complex activities. All this will be incorporated within your assignment. First, you look at the mapping between the course outcome against your assignment. Based on the two tick here, you know that this assignment will involve analyzing the loads involved in structural design, and it will involve design the details of reinforced concrete structural elements. That means it's focused more on analysis and design. In terms of the complex problem solving, there will be depth of knowledge required as the combinations of engineering fundamental, engineering design, as well as engineering practice. That means there will be exposures to the applications in the local industries, and there will be element in terms of the depth of analysis, as well as extensive applications of the code of practice. From here, you will know that the component of your assignments, which if you find yourself doing the assignment not having any one of those components, most likely you miss something important, and it is up to the lecturer to declare what kind of elements to be incorporated in the assignment. Although this is normally meant for the lecturer to evaluate the level of difficulty of the assignment, but it is always good for you to know this. In fact, if you really want to consider, the lecturer may have more ticks here, probably especially incorporate some conflicting requirement, and this is going to make the assignments to be more challenging, or probably involvement of some stakeholders, clients, architect, local authorities, and this is going to make the assignments to be more complex. However, based on what is given here, the focus of the assessment, it will be based on these three complex problem solving. And then in terms of the complex activities, it is not emphasized by the lecturer. There is no tick here. In the case that there are any tick here, that means you need to spend some effort to demonstrate that you perform well through these complex activities. In terms of the marks allocations, it is stated that 5% for the presentations, 5% for the structural plan, and 10% for the design report. A total of 20% will be carried by the assignment. In a typical reinforced concrete design course, there will be 20% for the progress test, and there will be 20% for the assignment, and 60% for final exam. This will be the 20% for the assignment.